Good afternoon and welcome to this Facebook Live edition of Let's Talk Access, a social media program produced and presented by the UWI Open Campus. I am your host, Cleveland Sam. Thank you for joining us wherever in the Caribbean you are this afternoon, and a special good afternoon to our friends from Antigua and Barbuda and Belize. And later on in the program, you will find out why I'm saying a special good afternoon to Belize and Antigua and Barbuda. Today, we focus on the certificates in agriculture and human ecology. And for that, I have some guests from the St. Augustine campus in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as my colleague from the Continuing and Professional Education Center. So I want to say welcome to Professor Wayne Ganpat, and he's the Dean, Faculty of Food and Agriculture at the St. Augustine campus of the UWI, as well as Dr. Gaius Eudoxie, and he's the Deputy Dean at that campus of the UWI, as well as Jamie Lee Rock, and Jamie Lee is the Program Manager in the Continuing and Professional Education Center of the UWI Open Campus. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Talk Access.
Hi, good afternoon, Cleveland. Thank you so much for having us. We're very excited to be with you today and to with our viewers streaming from Facebook and YouTube.
Pleasant good afternoon. And thank you again, Cleveland, and to our Open Campus. Certainly, and thank you to our viewers on Facebook and Twitter. And we are happy to be here as part of the Faculty of Food and Agriculture.
All right, and Professor Ganpat will join us momentarily as we go through the program. So Jamie, I want to start with you first. Maybe as the program manager at what we call a CPEC unit, Continuing Professional Education Center, tell us how this works, because my other colleagues this afternoon are from the St. Augustine campus of the UWI, but the certificates are being offered to open campus students in the selected countries. Tell us how this works.
Yes, well, definitely. So as our viewers may know, and as you know, Cleveland, we're all a part of the UE network. We're sister campuses, and it's in the nature of the Open Campus to be collaborative, to work alongside with not only external partners, but with our sister campuses. And so I feel like the collaboration with the St. Augustine campus is almost natural, and it's almost 1 + 1. And so when the St. Augustine campus's Faculty of Food and Agriculture approached the Open Campus to be able to deliver these exciting programs in human ecology and agriculture, we jumped at the opportunity to be able to work with them, especially because they're the experts in the field in across the region in these areas. And so how the collaboration will work is that these are fully St. Augustine programs, but in the collaboration supports the delivery of the program via our Open Campus platform, specifically within the countries of Belize and Antigua and Barbuda. And I'll allow Gaius to also speak to how the collaboration came to be, because he's been a part of the discussions from the very beginning.
All right, so Gaius, I'm going to go right over to you. Tell us, what's the rationale for having these two particular countries selected to pilot the program? That is Antigua and Barbuda, and our beautiful Central American colleagues in Belize.
Well, honestly, the idea, I think, was a brainchild of our Dean, Professor Wayne Ganpat, with his very ardent and very determined effort towards increasing our student numbers within the Faculty of Food and Agriculture, and also recognizing that there is a tremendous cost for persons having to travel to St. Augustine campus from around the region that we serve as a UE family. And bearing in mind that the St. Augustine campus is the only campus that carries a Faculty of Agriculture, we sought other ways and other means of trying to get our footprint or get our programs delivered to persons who may wish to do those programs in and across the Caribbean. So we went on this journey, and I have to be very thankful to the Open Campus, who welcomed us as their sister campus and was very collaborative in working together to get the program sorted out. And after we got our administrative responsibilities in order, we recognized that there was a need as well to focus the program and to make sure in this original offering that countries that have open campus sites were ready to deliver the program in the manner in which we wanted it to be delivered. And Belize as well as Antigua volunteered, and I must say they were very happy to step forward to service these two programs together with the St. Augustine Faculty of Food and Agriculture. So therefore, we are hoping that we can get these programs running in these two countries and then multiply that across the many sites of the open campus.
Awesome stuff. Guys, before we go any further, the Faculty of Food and Agriculture, my research tells me that you're one of the oldest tertiary institutions in the UE system. Can you just tell us a bit about the history about the faculty?
Oh, the faculty is quite correct. At the St. Augustine campus, originated from the Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture in the 1960s.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
So yeah, we have a very rich history, especially at St. Augustine, and it has moved forward from being that Imperial Tropical College, and then it moved into the University of the West Indies, to which one of the faculties, one of the first faculties was the Faculty of Food and Agriculture. And that faculty has continued to grow and develop and be enriched by a number of contributions from persons across our region. And it is in that regards that we want to extend our arms to as many of our regional partners as possible to make sure that we reach out to those stakeholders.
Guys, you just took away my next question altogether, but I'm going to coin it differently as well, because I mean, as you rightly said, and as Jamie, I'm sure, and Dr. Owen, who should have been here but not here today, would obviously allude that the open campus seemed to be always open to collaboration with sister campuses, as well as other regional and international organizations. If you look at some of the programs we offer, and Jamie, you can speak to this, I'm sure, at another time, but we do seem to be the campus, the go-to campus for collaborative activities.
And I would absolutely agree. I think of you all as the octopus in the in the UE. Your arms are all over. Your organelles
17
all over.
Countries.
Exactly, and there's no other campus that has that type of reach. So I think the collaboration in that regards was very important and very timely for us to ensure that we get our programs out there and through not just in any particular manner, but through as well an institution that we know has the reputation and the quality to guarantee that our stakeholders will feel satisfied.
Yeah, definitely. And I also just want to add, it's not only timely in terms of and relevant in terms of the collaboration between our campus and St. Augustine, but also in terms of the topic, even though it sounds like agriculture is an archaic and human ecology is a somewhat archaic type of area of study, but I feel like in our climate today, where we're looking at sustainable development and the green movement, these topics are also very timely, because if you look at what human ecology is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Eudoxie, but it's that interaction between human and nature, and seeing how we can really become aware of our footprint and how we're making an impact on the environment, especially because we're the ones living in it now, and we want to leave a legacy and someplace livable for our future generations. So I think it's also such a timely subject area of that we're collaborating on as well.
If the chair will permit me.
Yes, I'm permitting you.
I will add that it is such a topical subject area right now amidst our current pandemic that one would have to think about food security, and one would have to think about climate change, and one would have to think about sustainability. And these are core elements within those programs. So I do agree with you that it is a very timely and topical issue that we have to ensure that our population recognizes the need to have professionals trained in addressing these issues as key issues for us in this 21st century.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure.
All right. And just to remind, sorry, Jamie, just to remind our viewers on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, that we will answer your questions. We will respond to your comments if you put them in the chat feature on Facebook as well as YouTube, and they will be relayed to our panelists for you. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we will ask them to the panelists for you. Let's go. I just wanted to punctuate something you said, Dr. Eudoxie, in terms of food security, particularly, and I think the COVID pandemic brought it home starkly more than anything else when there was a halt in terms of international travel, international transport. From where you sit at the Faculty of Food and Agriculture, how important is food security taken in the Caribbean?
Well, certainly it is a very important issue. And even pre-COVID, it was always on the agenda of our secretariat and hence on the agenda of all of our national governments. So it is a very serious topic. COVID-19 has placed greater focus on it, and it has given us an opportunity as a region to ensure that we direct our resources to addressing this particular problem in many different ways. The university, and in that regards, the faculty has extended an arm to many of our developmental partners and our stakeholders in ensuring that in addition to providing our formal educational programs, and mind you, we are currently finalizing MSc in food security in that regards, but even for our research and our outreach activities, we have extended significant amount of time and resources to make sure that the university's footprint in this process moving forward remains visible. So it is something that is truly important to us, and I think at the regional and national level, we are seeing that. And it is something that we are hoping would be a change agent as well for young persons and for others who may be interested to recognize that there is a change now, or dimension of agriculture that is now resurfacing, and it's bearing its importance once again.
Awesome stuff. Jamie, I see that you were itching to go with something. Did I read your mind?
Yes. Definitely. I was just nodding and agreeing with what Dr. Eudoxie was saying, because obviously it's also an SDG, and I think that's also a priority of most of our Caribbean governments. And also to add that the area of agriculture, it's something that I wish our young people would really look into as a viable career option, because there's so much potential. I know that a lot of people see the times we're living in as very technology driven and industry driven, but there's so much benefit to diving into this area of agriculture. There are so many funding opportunities for small businesses and entrepreneurs to look at not only how you can build a career in agriculture and human ecology, but also how this can lead to sustainable projects that can make national impact, regional impact, and even hopefully a global impact. And especially if it's coming out of our Caribbean region, that's even more so a plus.
All right. You mentioned the use of technology and so on, but I have a particular question where I would wait until Professor Ganpat arrives. In the meantime, Dr. Eudoxie, just to assure the young people of Jamie's point about technology, I'm sure the type of agriculture that we are teaching now is technology driven, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely is. And I would make mention of the fact that we are having some support in this particular program in Trinidad. And the whole idea behind this support is that what we try to do is to get them into agri-entrepreneurs. And to do that, we appreciate the fact that this generation is driven by technology. And as such, there are many different types of farming systems that probably are more attractive. So for instance, the project that we are running in Trinidad is one that is based on what we call climate control or environmental control agriculture. So they are dealing with things like hydroponics, they are dealing with things like LED lighting, and we are controlling indoor agriculture as well as outdoor agriculture. So yes, the program gears our participants, our students, to appreciating these concepts and how these concepts can be utilized as supplements or additions onto what we already know as traditional knowledge. So it incorporates these technological and information tools as part of the program.
All right, if you're just joining us, today on Let's Talk Access, we are focusing on 2 certificates, one in agriculture and the other in human ecology. And I'm going to go back to you, Dr. Eudoxie. What exactly is agriculture?
Agriculture is a very, very broad discipline. That might probably take me the rest of the session.
I imagine it's like a thesis, right?
but in essence, and I think that is one of the, and I would really appreciate that question, because it gives the opportunity for one to clarify that agriculture, for me, is more than just agronomy, which is the planting and rearing, planting of and growing of crops and the rearing of livestock, which is where the traditional sense of agriculture falls. The essence that agriculture extends beyond the production into post-production, into food, science as well, into human nutrition, which is as well where some of the ecology aspects are related. But it also links back to things like environmental management and climate change. So you cannot study agriculture or understand agriculture without looking at all of these disciplines. What I like to view agriculture as is the center for most of the other studies we do. So to be an agriculturalist, you have to understand engineering. To be an agriculturalist, you have to understand social science. You have to understand economics. You have to understand physical sciences. So it merges all of these sciences into a very specific discipline, which is our ability to grow plants and to rear animals and to understand how they interact with our environment.
Great stuff. So we're not talking about hoe and cutlasses here.
Certainly not. certainly not.
All right. And similarly, could you give us a broad understanding of what is meant by human ecology?
So the human ecology takes into account a few dimensions, but one of the essences of human ecology is to try to appreciate how food particularly interacts with, or nutrition interacts with agriculture. So it focuses heavily on the relationship between the foods that we produce and how our human beings utilize that food. It also looks at dimensions outside of the nutrition as well, but it also looks at dimensions of livelihoods. So within communities, how are we addressing food needs and food requirements, and how are we addressing other social issues that may impact on how we utilize our food, and how are we focusing on the food as part of our health. So it focuses as well in that dimension. So persons who typically follow that program generally end up in the dimension of nutritionists or dietitians. So our program, if one would follow it onto the postgraduate certificate in community dietetics and nutrition, you leave that program being a registered dietitian, recognized by your medical board.
Wow, rich stuff here today on Let's Talk Access on the UWI Open Campus. And as I said, remember, you can send us your comments and questions to the panel using the chat features on the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter feed that you're following us on. All right, so let's get into the actual programs. We have mentioned that these are certificates in agriculture and one in human ecology. Let's get into the program. What's the structure of the programs? Let's start with agriculture, the certificate in agriculture.
The certificate in agriculture is a one-year program. The one-year program is typically run over 3 semesters, where you have a total of 32 credits. The courses are based on ICT, basic sciences, social sciences, economics, and the fundamentals or the foundations of agriculture. So you get a little bit of both. It is set in a way in which, bearing in mind that the development of the program was pre-COVID, so it was really designed for face-to-face delivery, but it has now been retrofitted to virtual delivery. But nonetheless, it was really designed for one to be engaged with a combination of theory as well as practical, and to see how the theory is applied in a practical sense. So it is a program that is generally run over 3 semesters. Generally, we have roughly 6 courses in the first semester, 6 courses in the second semester, and then we have a summer program or a summer semester or a third semester where we just have one practical course where persons are as well grounded in some more practical applications of the theoretical principles.
Jamie, in terms of the students' open campus in Antigua and Belize, how would they be accessing these programs?
Right, so students are going to be registering via the St. Augustine portal, because they will officially be St. Augustine students, but we will be facilitating the learning, the synchronous learning in the respective sites. So I also really want to give a major shout out and thank you to Dr. Charmaine Saunders in Belize and Ms. Colleen Letlow, the head of site in Antigua, and previously Dr. Shaila Esprit, who was working on this project as well, for their very intensive and dedicated work to ensuring that the sites were all ready and raring to go for the delivery of these programs. But in terms of accessing, applying and registering, it will all be done via St. Augustine's portal.
Right, so does that mean they're going to be doing these online or face-to-face?
Right, so it's synchronous learning. So the facilitators will be in Trinidad and in St. Augustine, and our students will be on site in Belize and Antigua, as well as the heads are coordinating with the various ministries in both countries of agriculture to be able to source lab spaces for the practical components of the courses. So it's virtual, it's face-to-face, it's blended.
Right, because and guys, you can bear me out here. I mean, this is agriculture and human ecology. So one expects a certain level of the hand being used to do stuff.
Right, exactly. So that definitely, and like Dr. Eudoxia was mentioning, that's something we didn't want to sacrifice, even though we're in these COVID times, we're practicing social distancing and safe distancing. We wanted to ensure that the content was still as rich and as engaging and as effective as possible, even though it's being delivered in a virtual setting.
Go ahead.
Or if I just may add on to what Jamie was saying, I think that was the intent when we were developing our collaboration, that we never wanted to sacrifice that very important hands-on tactile type of learning for our students. And I think the arrangements were that we would have in-country tutors to support that practical element for the delivery of the program. And I think that it would have guaranteed that quality would have not been compromised, particularly when it comes to that kinesthetic learning dimension.
Great. So the students should be very excited in this. I mean, using the technology, using the face-to-face, using the labs, and so on. And I'm sure our colleagues, I know Dr. Saunders in Belize is a very enthusiastic head of site, and who will ensure that everything is in place for the delivery of this program. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, I was just agreeing with you, saying that, yes, I know Dr. Saunders is one of those type of person. Whenever there's a new project, she's always excited and ready to give the thumbs up from the Belize. And so again, just adding my thanks to her and to Colleen in Antigua as well, even though she's brand new to not only the project, but to the open campus, for right, diving in head first and just attaching herself to the project to get it off the ground and running for our students in Antigua.
Right. Jamie, back to you in terms of the application period. So the application is now open. Walk us through that.
Yeah, so applications will be open in November for students, and the delivery is set for January 2021. So right now, I guess it's the marinating period where students can really have a think about which one of the programs. Well, in Belize, we're offering the Human Ecology program, and in Antigua, we're offering the program in agriculture. So just having a think about if this is something they really want to do, and hopefully this session helps you to push you over the edge to making that decision. But they will be able to apply in November via the portal. And of course, we'll share the links to the application portal via this session as well.
All right. So agriculture in Antigua and human ecology in Belize.
Yes, that's right.
All right. And this is just a pilot. So does that mean down the road, we're probably going to be offering these programs all through the region, Dr. Eudoxie?
I think that is the intent, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yes, the intent is to really reach out and utilize our partnership to reach as many persons as possible. Because I think fundamentally one of the key things is that there's a huge cost attached to having to leave your country and come to another country to do a resident program. So it becomes a tremendous cost that can be averted through partnerships like this. So we're hoping that we could extend that throughout. Actually, just over this week, I was having conversations with the St. Vincent College of Agriculture, who was asking me about what can be offered. And they were surprised to learn about this initiative. And I think they immediately contacted the Open Campus in St. Vincent, who as well indicated that they would follow up with the main offices to just see whether or not they could also be part of that. So there clearly is a need and there clearly is a demand out there. And we're hoping to use that partnership to satisfy that.
Yeah, and just to add to Dr. Eudoxie, these are pre-university certificates. So when persons complete these certificates, they're able to ladder into the degree programs that are available at St. Augustine. So it's not only an investment, it's a first step to a continuation of learning and becoming degree official in these programs.
Right, and I'm sure my colleague, Mrs. Dalrymple and her team in St. Vincent, as you said, Dr. Eudoxie, would be raring to go with something like this, knowing how important agriculture is in the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And of course, in Belize as well, I know it's a big thing in Belize. All right, so we have looked at the structure of the program, the entry requirements. Because I smiled when I saw the entry requirements.
So as Jamie would have mentioned, these are undergraduate certificates. So they are at the level pre-BSc. And the essence is that all they require are the lower level matriculation entry requirements into these University of the West Indies, particularly St. Augustine campus. And that means for our programs, what you require for the agriculture program is that you require your 5 CXC passes or CPEC passes as they are called now, right? Ensuring that you have a passed grade in both maths and English, right? Okay. So I should say including maths and English. Your 5 CXC must include maths and English. We are also asking, because agriculture has a strong science foundation, that you have one science subject as part of your 5 subjects. And there's a list of science subjects that are described on the website. For the human ecology, all you require is your 5 CXC passes, including maths and English, irrespective of your subjects that you are choosing. Just 5 passes overall will get you into this program.
So no CAPE required.
And that is a nice thing. And I think that is where I think Jamie was alluding to it. One of the advantages of this program is a 1+3. So the essence is you could, as long as you are sure that this is the path you want to take and the career you want to build, it gives you the opportunity to immediately go from CSEC to do a 1-year program and get into a BSc. So essentially doing 1 year of undergraduate certificate plus 3 years of your BSc to give you your BSc degree in 4 years, versus if you have to go the traditional route, which is 2 years at CAPE and then 3 years at the BSc. And the reason behind that is that the certificate programs are tailored to get you into our program. So the courses are certainly aligned with the BSc courses, unlike you would get, yes, at the CAPE level.
Okay, good stuff. Right. We always wanted to know about the cost. We're going to come to the costs a little later. But what types of assessment would the student in the agriculture program be taking? What type of assessment?
The assessments are varied. All different formats are looked at, and the assessments are again cost dependent, because the courses do have their specific learning outcomes. and learning objectives. So the assessments are based on that. Typically, students would be engaged with various types of what we call coursework assessments, where it could be from a research project to a case study to a review to online assignment. And then we also have some amount of final exams. And as such, the final exams, well, in this dispensation has been converted, but traditionally final exams would mean that you will come to your site to do your exam, and hence the strong role of our open campus partners in facilitating that process.
Okay, sounds very familiar. And I mean, especially as you said, in the COVID era, if it continues, then the assessment probably will be converted to some type of online assessment as well.
That is correct.
Right. And all right, so that's for agriculture. Let's look at human ecology. What is the structure of this program? What are some of the courses students will be taking?
The courses are based around, as we described earlier, a science footprint as well. So there are some amount of sciences that the students will have to do, particularly biology and chemistry as the foundation of food science. They will also be introduced into nutritional sciences, so they'll get a gist of what nutrition is about in that regards, and the importance of nutrition towards health. And they will also get a little exposure to consumer sciences as well, in appreciating now livelihoods and how that relationship works. So it's built along that. It's a little smaller than our agricultural program. Our agricultural program had a total of 32 credits. The human ecology program, the certificate, has roughly about 30 credits, and it runs over 2 semesters. So that one does not have an additional third semester. It's a 2-semester program that has 5 courses in each semester, and should be able to finish across these 2 semesters.
All right. So a student who has done a course at CPEC level, for example, like food and nutrition and so on, they would find this particularly interesting?
Oh, I would think so. Yes, it certainly plays on that particular discipline. So if that is something that you are interested in, you know, it is something that will allow for you to build upon. And as you build upon that in the program, there are options, because in coming off of that undergraduate certificate in human ecology, there are a number of programs that one can move into. The 2 dominant programs would be the one in human ecology and the one in food and nutrition. So there's 2 different degree programs that students can move into in terms of the streams based on their own personal career paths.
All right. Jimmy, what sort of cohort are you looking for here in terms of numbers and so on? Do you have a cap on this?
I'm going to give you the PC answer, and then I'm going to give you my personal answer. I don't think there's a cap.
Right ahead.
So for our cohorts, we usually look at hopefully at least a minimum of 15 and then maybe a max of 35. But I would say we would welcome everybody because we think not only this program is beneficial, but also we have the capacity, since it's being delivered online, we don't have the limitation of our room. So I would say there's no limit, but someone from the Open Campus might correct me on that. But right now, there's no maximum per se.
Okay. Eudoxie, do you have a take on that?
I think I want to agree with Jamie. The only limitation we would have had pre-COVID would have been essentially physical space in that regards. But once at this point in time, that is not necessarily a limitation on us. And as such, because we are also doing it synchronously, I think once persons have the technology to support the program, then I think we can have an open cap in terms of numbers.
So, Dr. Eudoxie, these programs were developed specifically for this reason. I mean, I'm trying to find what was the rationale behind the certificate programs, because as I said, as you rightly said, the Imperial College of Agriculture, that's the name?
Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture,
that
yes.
really goes back to our colonial past. My understanding is that back then they actually offered some short courses as well to matriculate into universities abroad. So you have a history of short courses.
Oh, and we've maintained that history. To date, we offer a number of professional short courses to members of the public, and some of those short courses are taken into consideration for matriculation. Similarly, in our programs, for instance, it is very clear, as I would invite persons to go on the website to see for themselves and to get some more details, but it's very clear that even if you don't have a science subject at CPEC, we also take into account experience that you may have that may lead to an understanding that is that can substitute for that lack of a science subject. So that remains very key to us. The rationale behind these particular certificate courses was probably twofold. One, we had a traditional pool from which our students used to come from. For instance, we had case in Jamaica that was only dealing with pre-tertiary level. At the diploma level, we also had ECIAF in Trinidad, we had the community colleges in Barbados, St. Lucia, as well as St. Vincent and Dominica. So we always had a pool because we were a very select institution in terms of agriculture at tertiary level. But now that is not the case, and that is the reality that we face. There are several competing tertiary level institutions that are providing students with BSc and higher levels of education. So that pool no longer was unique to us. So we recognized there was a need for us to also develop our own stream and to bring students into our stream that could continue to matriculate into our BSc and degree and postgraduate programs. So that
you're widening the net that came to you.
That is, and I think in addition to widening, we wanted to take some more control over our source of students and to reach a wider a pool of students in that regards. So instead of only waiting for persons who had already either had CAPE or already had a diploma in agriculture, we're saying that yes, we will want to accept you even at the CPEC level. So it opened on our overall pool and reach.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, I was just also going to add to that. It just speaks to, and I'll say the university because it's a collaboration between the Open Campus and St. Augustine, is that we also try to understand our market and understand the persons of our region. We know that not everybody has the time to be able to want to pursue a full degree. Some persons just want the 1 year program that is not only from a reputable source like the university, but also that is able to something that they can integrate into their own lives, that's flexible and that's accessible. So I think it also speaks to our how much we have our ear to the ground to be able to reach our
agility.
Yes,
wonderful.
Agility.
All right, so you are watching Let's Talk Access, a program produced by the UWI Open Campus, and our focus today is on certificates in agriculture and human ecology. These programs are being piloted in the countries of Antigua and Barbuda, the agriculture, and in Belize, the human ecology, and they're being offered through our sister campus at St. Augustine in Trinidad and Tobago. And the next question I want to ask, I mean, you did say that the cohort is a little different, but who exactly are you trying to target with these certificate programs? Sure, certainly it's not just CPEC fifth form students who just come out of high school.
Jamie,
I'll take your lead, Dr. Hido.
Not a problem. I think principally that is probably our primary target market, persons who are leaving. And one of the things, we did do some research and we recognize that, you know, even when you look at the amount of students, and we did it particularly only in Trinidad when we were focusing on developing this program, you know, the number of students who do agriculture at CPEC, just as a basic key course that is obviously related to what we continue to educate persons in at this level, we found that there were over roughly 5,000 persons who do agriculture at that level, and that the majority of them, for reasons some of them obviously beyond our ability to control, do not necessarily get the opportunity to advance their studies at a tertiary level. And we thought that was significant. And I could only imagine that multiplied across 17 countries within the region with regards to the impact and the amount of persons that may want to continue on a career in agriculture, but are stalled for various reasons. One of them being the inability to access those programs based on the fact that they didn't have these options that we are providing to them at this point.
And I would also add to that, I mean, I'm not the expert who helped to develop these courses, but just from the conversation and just from my interaction with this project, I would say that persons within various government ministries can benefit from a program like this because it can help to give a technical, science-based, evidence-based impetus for projects where they can look to what research needs to be done or what areas are within their own national context are needing a light to be shed on them. So this can help from as a technical kind of professional development to throw in your backpack to help you with your projects and to source fundings. So I would say it would be beneficial to also persons working in the public sector as well, especially in, like I mentioned, in our times of moving towards being green and sustainable.
Right.
If
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just said, if I may just support this by giving an example, our interaction with our colleagues in St. Vincent was exactly along that line. There were employees of the Ministry of Agriculture who were trying to advance their careers through education and were not sure of the opportunities that were there. So you are quite correct. I was happy to hear that the potential for that type of program was available.
Awesome. And of course, you know, throughout the Caribbean in some of the countries, there are some significantly large farms as well, who may have young persons working on those farms without any certification in agriculture or human ecology.
You are quite correct in that regards as well, and that is one of the areas as well we would love to support, especially with regards to our stakeholders who are in the production or in the post-production or along the value chain, where you may have persons who may need to have that type of formal training, and certification in ensuring that what they are providing in terms of services it meets a particular standard of quality. So you are quite correct. It also would cater to those types of individuals.
All right. So this program is really for anyone at any level who is ready to have some certification, have some academic experience. And
I would tell you, after watching David Attenborough's A Life on Our Planet, as soon as the certificate in agriculture hits Belize, I think I would sign up for it because it was such an inspiring program to realize how much our world has just kind of transitioned for the worst. And I'm going to share a fact that hopefully is going to be a catalyst for some of you who are still considering whether you should do the certificate or not.
Go ahead.
Since the 1970s, we've tripled the amount of natural resources we've consumed. And there's a statistic from NASA, I hope I'm getting this right, that by the year 2100, if we continue at this rate, we won't have any rainforests at all. Ever they won't exist, and that's completely scary. And so I think even if you're just an enthusiast like myself, if you love our planet, if you want to see change and want to be able to be informed in an academic way to start a movement or to join a movement, I think these certificates, both the human ecology and agriculture, are really great ways to do that. So I just wanted to add that. I might sound like a hippie, a crazy earth hippie, but I would say it's
a human being who wants to save the planet.
Yes, for sure.
Dr. I just want to go back to a point you made earlier. You said over 5,000 students take agriculture science at the CPEC level, but I mean, a significant number of them do not go on to do anything in agriculture science at all. Do you have any reason why this is so?
Well, interestingly enough, our cohort into the our UDA, which is just a little more advanced than the certificate. For Trinidad, we prefer to do that because of GATE, but nonetheless, this cohort that came into that certificate program, a number of them I spoke to, being an academic advisor, and a lot of them told me that they were adults, actually, many of them. And the reason that they came into the program this year was because the program was now being offered in a virtual kind of environment. So now they were able to maintain as well some amount of, I guess, professional life and still be able to participate and get that formal learning that they were interested about. So that is one of the things that have always come down. You know, it has been an issue of whether or not persons could move into that based on a financial status or as well based on time and availability, because our programs are programs that are resident programs. You have to be here face to face. And that means you have to be able to be here over that period of time. And sometimes that is just not possible.
Campus, you know.
and that is why we so much appreciate that partnership, and we want to let out the persons who are listening on appreciate the importance of that what open campus brings to our university.
Indeed, I just had to put that out there, Jamie.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, guys. So now we have received quite a bit of information about the two certificates, so the one in agriculture and the one in human ecology. And just to repeat for our viewers who might just be joining, agriculture is being offered in Antigua and Barbuda, and I know they do some really sweet pineapples there. And human ecology is being offered in Belize. And Jamie, I will tell you, I find the agricultural produce in Belize absolutely delicious and absolutely affordable. They are so affordable.
The most affordable, the only place in the world where you could get 10 bananas for $1.
I know, like, it is absolutely affordable. And this is where we want to come to, affordability. These programs are certified by the University of the West Indies, the top ranked university in the English-speaking Caribbean, top 3 university in the world, top 3% of universities in the world. What is the cost of these programs?
Okay,
Jamie, I'm going to call on you to respond.
Sure, I'll take that one. So for the human ecology certificate in Belize, the cost is $3,600 US. And for the agricultural certificate in Antigua, the cost is $53.28 US. So actually it's $6,000 US, 68, because there's also the component of the practical labs. So that
right.
adds the extra cost for agriculture. But I wouldn't say that these costs are prohibitive, because for the content that you get, for the quality of content and material and exposure that you get for these programs, it's more than worth it. And of course, we're working behind the scenes to be able to see how these programs can be even more accessible to our participants and our users in Belize and Antigua. But right now the cost is there. And all this information, of course, is on the webpage that we are going to share with our viewers.
Right, so you're talking about getting world recognized qualification from the University of the West Indies for $3,000 US in Belize, and in Antigua, it's just over $6,000 US. You're saying, and this is a internationally recognized qualification in agriculture and in human ecology. I would say that's a good bang for your buck.
I agree. I would agree.
I agree as well. it is, yes.
All right, and one of the things obviously people always want to know in terms of linking the value of these certificates, Eudoxie, and you yourself have been in this for a long time. And from your accent, I can pick up that you're from St. Lucia, which is one of the agricultural countries in the Windward Islands. You know, used to produce the most bananas in the Windwards for a number of years. What careers or professions can people with these certificates get into? Because this is what is going to justify them wanting to invest $3,000 in Belize or $6,000 in Antigua.
Right. So I think I want to take that from the perspective of the fact that we do not, while it is a terminal program, the essence is that it is there as a starter to build a career in agriculture. So we want persons who are interested in that to go on such that they could develop a lifelong satisfactory career. And as we move forward in there, although you can take your certificate and you can get entry level into, for instance, as well, ministries of agriculture, we would appreciate that you focus on more trying to develop and understand that skill a little more to get to the point where you become a professional at the BSc levels. Once you have gotten to that stage, once you have progressed to that stage, a plethora of careers are available. There are careers available in crop science, and there are specialized disciplines in crop science that one could follow, including biotechnology, including entomology, pathology. There are careers in as well agronomy, so soil science, environmental science, because you're getting lab training, lab technicians, lab managers. You could think about as well careers in livestock, from breeders to livestock nutritionists to reproductive physiologists. Oh, there are lots of career options that one could go in. The traditional careers that our students leave is that they get into the ministries, they become extension officers, they become support personnel, or they get into education and they become teachers, etc. We have a lot of students who also end up in a lot of our developmental partners, our regional as well as international developmental partners. They find themselves nestled in there in these regional institutions as well in that regards. And from more lately, I've been finding a lot of our students associated with CSOs and other NGOs. There's a lot of our students who are getting involved in that area as well. So it's a very wide pool that persons could go, and it's really dependent on your ambition, whether or not you want to think about it as something terminal to just help you within a particular career that you're already there, or you want to progress it to the point where you want to get a professional career out of it. So there's a wide set of career paths available, and there is actually a career guidance document on our FFA webpage for persons to recognize and to follow and to reference.
Yeah, that sounds very, very extensive. And of course, I would also add agripreneur, if there's such a word.
Oh, yes, I don't know why I forgot
love
that. Yeah,
that's
a word that was coined. That word was coined by one of our very own students. Yeah, Alpha said on a very young entrepreneur. You know, so I very much want to say yes, you can be an agripreneur. How
are you seeing that? I mean, from the students that are leaving your faculty?
Yes, we have had several success cases with regards to students moving on to opening their own businesses and getting involved in entrepreneurial activities from one field to the other. Those who want to get back into production, some have got into post-production. We have students living in human ecology. A lot of them, as I said, become registered dietitians. They have some of them who leave. There's about 2 of them that I know personally who have opened up. One opened up a bakery in that regards, and another one opened up another food enterprise. So persons have been able to move forward into various types. Some of them actually, a number of our young graduates, some of them work with consulting firms, and they are building their own reputation in that regards. As part of, for instance, the pilot that we are doing in Trinidad, because that pilot is focused heavily on CSA, one of the things that is coming out of that pilot is that we are also building with the groups entrepreneurial activities. So the pilot is allowing for them to run a very small scale operation where they are actually going to, from the knowledge that they gain, continue to use it in a kind of hydroponic or control environment system. So that is also opportunity. So persons can think about these types of production elements immediately from this particular certificate.
Awesome stuff. JP.
No, I was just agreeing with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Agreeing with Dr. Yar.
So, JP, you're taking the human ecology course. That's what you said.
No, I'd take the agricultural course because I think that's my retirement plan. I'm going to open a plant nursery and teach people how to love the planet and grow their own backyard garden.
There you go.
So that's my retirement plan.
It's your contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 minutes. Believe it or not, we have been speaking for the last 55 minutes. Time really flies when you're having fun.
That is true.
For sure.
So I'm going to give you each 1 minute to just wrap up. Jamie, starting with you, again, remind people how they can sign up, how they can become part of this program in the respective countries of Antigua and Belize and the cost of the program.
Sure. So I'll give the website now. So if you logged on to sta.uwi.edu/FFA, persons can sign up for either the certificate in agriculture or the certificate in human ecology that's being offered in Belize and Antigua. And if they want, they can reach out to us as well, the CPE Center at cpe@open.uwi.edu to find out more information, or directly to the sites in Belize and Antigua. Again, I just want to offer my thanks to Dr. Saunders and to Colleen Letlow, as well as to Dr. Shyler Esprit, who was also working on the project, for their time and effort to making sure that the project comes together. We want to offer thanks to our colleagues within the Open Campus, the support of our principal, who is always excited about projects like this and collaborations with our sister campus in St. Augustine. And yeah, that's it. We also have flyers available for persons to find more information. There's a QR code that you can just use your phone and it takes you directly to be able to apply. Applications open in November and the delivery starts in January. And hopefully with the success of these 2 cohorts, we're able to expand across the wider region and offer both certificates to persons across the Caribbean. So please, if you're not sure, if you're still on the fence, get in touch with us and we can give you more information to help you make that decision.
All right, thank you, J.B. Rock. Doctor, you look see.
Well, I just want to extend again a thank you to you all at the Open Campus. I think the collaboration was one that was truly inspirational, and I think it will be far-reaching. I want to apologize on behalf of Dean Ganpat, who got caught up in a meeting, but I still want to thank him for his vision and recognizing that that was an opportunity for both campuses to extend their reach to our very important stakeholders. So I want to encourage those of you who are listening and viewing to recognize the importance of agriculture, particularly as it seems to be cycling around in our COVID times, and to recognize the need for persons who have specialized in agriculture. And in that regard, I would want to welcome you all to the programs that we have on offer. And as JB would have indicated, a lot is awaiting you and information is available on our websites. And if you do encounter any challenges, we are ready and able to support you in this venture. And we look forward to having you in our cohort in January.
And if you'll permit me, I just want to also add a huge thank you to Dr. Eudoxie, because he has been a legend in ensuring that this project is also off the ground, working behind the scenes with the STA legal team and the registry and finance and all of those people. So a huge thank you to him as well. He has been the backbone of getting this off the ground as well. And so we want to thank him. Yes, for sure. I can't believe I forgot to mention him, but yes, thank you to Dr. Eudoxie as well.
Well, thank you to Dr. Gaius Eudoxie, and he is the Dean of the Faculty of Food and Agriculture at the St. Augustine campus, and Miss Jamie Lee Rock, and she is the Program Manager with the Continuing and Professional Education Center here at the UWI Open Campus. Special thanks to you for joining us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube today, as well as thanks to my team who have made this program possible: Patrick Johnson, Richard Bath, David Foster, and Cherise Glasgow for handling all of the technical stuff in the background. Until next time, I am Cleveland Sam. Goodbye.